The FIA just made a bold move, and F1 drivers are reeling. Could this be the end of aggressive racing as we know it? What's the sequence of the events? Stay tuned to find out. And we got some exciting Formula news for you, so stick around until the end to catch all the latest updates. Welcome to Formula Every Day. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell for more updates. F1 drivers in total shock after FIA announces new rules following Mexico GP. In the world of Formula One, driver frustration over on-track aggression and inconsistent penalties has reached a boiling point. 19 out of 20 drivers recently agreed that changes to racing rules and enforcement are needed immediately, with a push for updates as early as the Brazilian Grand Prix. The main focus of their concerns has been the dangerous maneuver executed by Verstappen in Turn 8 during the Mexican GP, a move that many drivers feel crossed the line. The behead of the apex rule, which gives leading drivers specific privileges before reaching a corner's apex, has stirred considerable debate due to the gray areas it creates. This rule, originally intended to clarify on-track positioning, has instead led to varied interpretations and controversies. Verstappen notably took advantage of this rule in Austin, leveraging his position to maintain control in tight scenarios. However, his aggressive maneuvers in Mexico, particularly in his battle with rival Norris, raised eyebrows for pushing the boundaries of acceptable racing conduct. Many drivers argue that such bold moves, especially those that risk forcing opponents off track, should no longer be permitted under current regulations. They call for stricter enforcement to prevent any misuses of the rule, which they believe compromises fair competition and safety. The push for clarity and tighter policing of ahead of the apex incidents reflects an underlying desire among drivers for a more consistent and safer racing environment. George Russell voiced his concern, stating that the stewards should act now rather than waiting until 2025, as initially suggested. If it's correct, make the change today, Russell said. The stewards' inconsistency has been a significant grievance among drivers, who feel that clear, uniform penalties are critical to ensuring fair racing. The vast majority of drivers seem to agree on the need for immediate adjustments. The problem, however, runs deeper than rule clarity. Accusations of bias in stewarding have emerged, with certain stewards' affiliations or past disputes with drivers casting doubt on their impartiality. For instance, stewarding decisions in Austin and Mexico, handing down a 10-second penalty to Verstappen, have sparked debate among fans and insiders alike, questioning whether personal or business connections could affect judgments. Team responses to these penalties have been mixed. While some teams praise the enforcement of rules, others, like Red Bull, argued that Norris's speed in Turn 4 in Mexico was enough to provoke the incident, suggesting the penalty was too harsh. The disparity in views highlights the ongoing debate between drivers pushing limits and stewards maintaining control. Norris himself believes Verstappen got the penalty he deserved, as he's often avoided consequences for similar risky maneuvers in the past. Norris explained that he respects tough racing but emphasized the importance of fair play, especially in high-stakes situations like his title race against Verstappen. "I feel like I had to avoid collisions," he said, "and that's not what you want to do in a race." As F1 heads to Brazil, fans and drivers alike will be watching closely to see if any new regulations are introduced and whether on-track behavior shifts in response to recent controversies. The scrutiny on driver conduct, especially around the behead of the apex rule, has intensified following recent incidents, and Brazil could set the tone for how these rules are enforced in the future. Adding to the excitement, Verstappen faces the possibility of grid penalties due to his aging engine, putting his championship hopes at risk. With every point critical in the fierce title race, potential penalties could shift the balance in his rival's favor, turning the Brazilian Grand Prix into a pivotal event in the championship battle. In our view, the Formula One drivers' demand for immediate rule changes is not only justified but overdue. The inconsistencies in stewarding decisions and the perceived bias due to personal or business ties have fueled an atmosphere of frustration among drivers and fans alike. With incidents like those involving Verstappen and Norris in Mexico, it's clear that the behead of the apex rule and similar regulations leave too much room for interpretation, allowing some drivers to push boundaries with limited consequences. A swift, clear adjustment to the rulebook could help restore fair play and ensure that drivers are held to the same standard across the grid. Moreover, racing in F1 is already high stakes, and while aggressive, competitive driving is part of the sport's allure. There's a thin line between hard racing and dangerous moves. Holding drivers accountable now, rather than waiting until the next season, could set a new standard that respects both the intensity of competition and the safety of everyone on track. As we approach the Brazilian Grand Prix, the pressure on stewards to provide consistent rulings and on drivers to adjust their approach will be critical in shaping the future of F1 racing. What do you think? Do you believe immediate changes to the F1 rulebook are necessary to address aggressive driving and inconsistent penalties? Should stewards be held to stricter standards to eliminate potential bias? Or does this intensity simply come with the territory of competitive racing? Let us know if you think Formula One should make adjustments now or wait until the next season to refine the rules and bring consistency to the sport. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what your opinion. See you soon.